Hello everyone and welcome to CFC Fan TV. I hope you're all having a lovely week. Today's video comes with great sadness. I don't want to do it, and by no means is it what I hope happens. I hope Hudson Odoi stays at the club for years and years to come. But from what I've heard and from all the things online and just from what I've observed myself over the last few games, I'm going to have to do a video on the 5 reasons why I believe Hudson Odoi won't be a Chelsea player come the end of the January transfer window. Listen, by no means is this my what's the word, Sammy? In no means is this my I don't know how to say. Do I want this to happen? Do me and Rory and Charlie, we're not trying to put this out there to be negative. We're just simply going by what reports are saying, and at the end of the day, looking at our last few games. So I'll start off by saying I think he's such a fantastic player. I think he's become such an amazing youngster. For any youngster who's just 18 to get into a Premier League side like Chelsea, it's difficult enough for current players. And I think actually what we've seen in recent years is, if you look at even the likes of Fabregas, for instance, he's not even been able to maintain his place, and he's now left now. And I think there became a time when, of course, JT and Frank and everybody left. It's an incredibly hard team to get into, especially with all the regulations. If you're too young, you don't really stand a chance. If you're too old, then you also don't really stand much of a chance after a certain amount of time. So I think for him to have broken his way into the team is a huge credit to himself. I think it's fantastic that the likes of him, Ethan Ampadu, Loftus-Cheek are all getting some game time. But for me, I would say this is a little bit different. Hudson Odoi, I'll start off by saying why I think he should be a vital part of Sarri's system, a vital part of the club, and for years to come, why he should be, or try his hardest to be, a Chelsea legend. I'm sure the fans would want to see that. Not only is he a young English player, he is such a fantastic talent. He displays, to me, more talent sometimes than what our current top players do. I think especially when he came on against Arsenal, he performed so well, and he was only on the pitch for 10 minutes. And I thought, we all know how bad we were against Arsenal. For me, when he came on, he was the best substitute. There's one point in that game where he ran all the way down to keep the ball in to try and get us a goal, and he literally kept it in. It must have been directly on the line. And I don't think we have that determination, that quality, and that hunger a lot of the time in our current team. So for Sarri not to play him in that, which I'll get on to him in a minute, at the start of that game, I found very bizarre. And although he had a great game against Sheffield Wednesday, I still think that the odds are against us for this, and I wouldn't blame him if he left. I think this is, something that he probably is thinking, long time about his career. He wants to develop as a young player. He wants to, be one of the best. He wants to be in the top flight. And yeah, so before I go into more of it and step on all my points, we'll start from now. So here are the top 5 reasons. They're not even top reasons, are they? These are the 5 really sad reasons that I think, unfortunately, he won't be a Chelsea player come the end of the January transfer window. Point 1 is that Hudson Odoi has formally handed in a transfer request, according to reports. He said he doesn't know if it will be his last game for Chelsea, and I think the fact that he wants to leave, I think if Chelsea were offering him regular game time, I think if he was playing, the majority of games, which I think, yeah, okay, fine, you look at how young he is, but at the end of the day, his talent just shines through. And if I was him, I'd be thinking, why on earth am I not in the first team? And I think he knows Chelsea's policy. I think he knows the way the club have worked in the past, and he knows that youngsters don't get much of a chance. And I think, although he's featured in the last few games, he should have started that Arsenal game. I think he probably believes in his head that he's only getting some game time now because Chelsea want to make him think that he's valued at the club, and the minute he says, yeah, I want to stay, we're not going to play him anymore. I don't agree with it. I know you fans don't agree with it. I think he absolutely has earned his right in the team, and for me this is different. I think Loftus-Cheek has been given a decent amount of game time. I think Ethan Ampadu has been given, although I'd like to see him probably feature a little bit more. I think he, for his quality and his age, he's been given a bit more. This is a completely different situation with Hudson Odoi. He is up there to me with, in some cases, you could argue that he's better than Willian and Pedro in terms of this season and in terms of quality. So it is sad that he's handed in a request. It is sad that he doesn't believe that he would be given a decent opportunity at the club, and yeah, that's something that's obviously not gone in our favour. Point two is obviously the offer from the club that want him, and that is Bayern Munich. They've offered 40 million for him. If you're a young player, there's 2 points. If you're a young player and you've got a team like a club like Bayern Munich wanting to pay 40 million pounds for you when you're only 18 years old, why on earth wouldn't you say yes to that? He's probably thinking, even as a club, I said to Rory in our fan cams, Chelsea should be looking at that like, we have an incredibly talented player who's at an extremely young age, and a club like Bayern Munich want him. Yeah, okay, fine, we beat Bayern Munich in the Champions League final, but if you look at our current form now, they're probably light years ahead. So when you have a huge club like Bayern Munich, a Champions League it's established club like Bayern Munich with some top players in the world, you're going to want to go there. So it should be a wake-up call to the club. It's an amazing incentive and confidence boost to Hudson Odoi himself, and I can't see why he would want to turn down that when, I think they would give him a decent run in, if I'm being honest. Now, point three also comes back to Bayern Munich. They want a young player. They already missed out on Sancho to Dortmund, and it's I think they want to be up there with them again. The Bundesliga is sort of, in terms of who wins the title is up for grabs, and they want a young player, and I think for them it's such an amazing investment to make. And I think if they can get in and pay 40 million for him now, I think in years to come, although it's not good for Chelsea and it's a very bad bit of business if they do sell him, and me and Rory and Charlie have all made our thoughts clear on that, it'd be an incredibly good bit of business for them, and it just seems like everything's going in their favour. So I would say, based on the fact they don't just want talent, they want somebody young who they can develop and they can make into their own, I'd say it's more or less a done deal. Now, point four, I'm going to have to slightly criticise our manager here, and I'm going to say Sarri's probably got this wrong from the start of the season. Now, yes, I think he's given him some good game time, but I don't think he's given him enough, and I think the turning point in that would have been against Arsenal. Playing him in the 80th minute is the most ridiculous thing I think I've seen all season. He should have started. We played a terrible team from the beginning anyway. It was all over the shot from start to finish. The system was all wrong, and like I said in my introduction to this video, the minute he came on, he looked hungry. He looked like he was up for it. He looked like he knew what Hudson Odoi looked like he knew what the London derby meant to us fans. He looked like he knew what a London derby was, and he was probably the only player on the pitch that I saw that was actually trying to make that effort. I think, yes, Alonso was really trying, but it was probably one of his worst games. And if you look at all our top players, they really didn't perform well. Sarri should have started him in that game. We could have seen what he could do. We could have seen him get a goal against Arsenal. I think that would have been huge for him, and he messed it up. And if I was him, I'd be thinking, this is ridiculous. And point five is that there is other clubs interested in him, and one of those, Leipzig, they've offered 20 million plus a buyback clause, which is again another very appealing offer. So you have to think for him, that he's been offered, I think he'll go to Bayern, but he's being offered these deals left, right and centre, and we're not known for playing our youth. So he's probably thinking in his head, Chelsea FC aren't known for playing their youth. I'm probably only being played because they want to keep hold of me for their own benefit, not necessarily to play him every game. Why wouldn't he take advantage of one of these options? So unfortunately, it does look like the odds are against us. So there you have it, everyone. Those are the 5 reasons why I believe Hudson Odoi won't remain a Chelsea player at the end of this transfer window. Please comment below and let me know your thoughts. Listen, by no means is this me being negative. I'm simply responding to all the reports that are already out there. And at the end of the day, these videos have to be honest. We're not looking for clickbait. We're not looking to make things look better than they are. We're just reporting what we see. And at the end of the day, this is what's out there. So please comment below and let me know your thoughts. And of course, follow us on Patreon for a few extra videos. Fingers crossed though it doesn't happen. And all my hope is going into him remaining a Blue.